And it's so much effort, isn't it, to write on a comment section? It's so much effort. And we noticed this from one of our TikToks that went viral, right? Mm-hmm. People grab what they can from that little clip, what they can cling to, and then they go for it. They target you, and they don't want to hear what else could be going on. They don't even care about the full context.
Mm-mm. They just attack.
My mother said I shouldn't, with Sarah and Michaela.
Welcome back, everybody, to My Mother Said I Shouldn't
Hello.
with Michaela
Hi.
and myself, Sarah. We are sponsored by RO Pictures and Coaching Heroes. Yay! And Michaela is a certified life coach and I am a certified health coach. And we are on another subject today, and that will be Kay.
Hello. We realised we hadn't really spoke about what we do. We were like, we should probably bring that in because we've been speaking a lot about some of the topics. So today, my mother said I shouldn't be too confident. And the reason I bring this up, and this doesn't come from my mother, this comes from some of the clients that I've worked with who feel that they are judged, or there is a judgment towards them if they appear overly confident, and they often shy away from stepping into confidence, leaning in, because they feel that they won't be liked, or they'll be ridiculed, or they'll be seen as arrogant. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
It's interesting because my mum and dad would always want me to be confident, and I'd always want my nieces, got 2 little nieces, and I'm like, be confident, be bold, go out in the world and do anything you want to do. But it is interesting because when you feel like maybe you feel like you're getting too big for your boots, and I don't know if that is maybe the confidence there, you're feeling so confident, you're like, yeah, and you're speaking about your achievements and you're so proud of yourself that sometimes you might feel like that is, am I boasting now? Am I making other people feel like, oh, does this look like I'm trying to be this, well, I'm being this person, and that's making me sound like I'm bigger than what I should be.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's this idea that if we are confident, we are boasting. And me saying what I've achieved is me highlighting to you what you haven't. And I think that's what people worry about, isn't it? They don't want to highlight to anyone else or make anyone feel subordinate or make anyone feel not as good as them. And then what does that do in terms of how we push ourselves forward and the moves that we make in our lives and the leaps that we take? Because if there's a fear that we're going to be outcast or we're going to be judged or people won't like us for doing really well, then maybe we suppress ourselves. Maybe we hold ourselves back. And let's face it, I don't know about you, but in my experience, it's not often celebrated. If I whinge about my day, or if I talk about how low I'm feeling, if I talk about negative things, I get a lot of attention, and people seem to really accept that and relate to that. But if I say how well things are going, sometimes that's not received in the same way.
That's so interesting, because I think what I would naturally do is I put myself down. And I think you've noticed this before, because you've brought it up to me. You're like, I'll kind of joke about it, or I'll make myself
self-deprecate.
the butt of the, is it the butt of the joke? Is that thing?
Self-deprecate.
I'll self-deprecate, and do it in a funny way to be like, well, this is what I'm doing. Like, you put yourself down, which is interesting. So you get more people can relate to you. Is that what it is? Like, so people can relate to you more if, or feel or want to converse with you more, or maybe understand, I get that you're not wherever you want to be, or maybe you're struggling a little bit.
I just feel that negativity is celebrated more than positivity or optimism.
Which is really sad, because what would happen in a world if we all celebrated everything, all the positives?
Oh, look at the news.
Yeah.
The news sells, right?
But then you get those positivity channels. I follow a couple of positivity channels on YouTube. They're brilliant. Or like the Instagram, and it's like positive news. And then like, I don't know, there's this new machine that sucks up plastic in the ocean, which is really good. And yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is really cool. It's a really good page, actually. I love it. So when I'm feeling really rubbish, I'm like, like the new panda was born today. But you're right. The news is very negative. And honestly, I've cried a couple of times. I've had to switch it off. I cried. There's a couple of things that popped up in the news and I cry. It's mad. My brother listens to it all the time. He has to for his job. But
I can't listen to the news all the time. I have to which sometimes makes me a little bit ignorant to what's going on in the world, because I feel like I don't know so much because I'm not watching. So Tom will say, blah, blah happened in blah, blah. And I'll be like, huh? And he's like, how do you not know? And I'm like, because I don't listen to it all the time. But I do think it's a thing. And I definitely think that self-deprecation, no matter how good the intention is, in the moment, it has its implications on that individual moving forward, because they don't celebrate their successes, which means that they don't get that dopamine hit when they achieve certain things. They might constantly be chasing the next thing. They also don't say it out loud, so maybe they don't realise that they're being successful, and maybe that doesn't make them realise how amazing they've been, and the self-trust that they're building and the ability to achieve their goals. You know, how does that hold someone back? How does it stop them from leaning into things that could change their lives or make the moves that they want for their career? That's what I worry about, because any habits any things we reinforce become a habit, right? So if you're in the habit of pulling yourself down for fear of making other people feel okay with what you're saying, what are the implications of that? And I see it with the people that I coach, because they often work in the acting arena. So they're scared to celebrate their work on social media. They're scared to put it out there because they feel that other actors will be like, well, I'm not getting no work. And because obviously it's such a difficult industry, it's filled with a lot of lack mentality, because it's so hard and there are lots of actors and not as many jobs. So they fear putting their work out, and they fear celebrating what they've got because they don't want to make anyone feel bad. And I kind of get that, kind of understand it. But at the same time, whenever I share my work on Instagram, I'm not even joking, I'll get someone messaging me about a potential job. It literally happened not so long ago. Put my work out there, 2 people got in touch.
Yeah. And I think it's also it'd be nice to see it in a more of a positive way as well, to think someone, because especially like when you see people that we know that get certain jobs and things, we're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I think it's looking at it at a different perspective of that's what could happen. That's a possibility. Like that person is worked hard, they're keeping their craft, they're working on their skills, and then they get this job and you think, wow, well, okay, cool. that could happen for me. So that could be a positive thing to see.
Yeah, and there are some people out there, absolutely, and the people who love you will want to celebrate with you. Yeah. So why the hell do we hold ourselves back for fear of upsetting people who aren't really our true friends?
Or do you also do it for people that are your friends and family, and you just try and keep it down as well? Because I can imagine some people still do that. It might not just be for strangers, it might also be for...
But why are we affecting our success or affecting our confidence? Why are we holding ourselves back because of the people who don't celebrate with us? Why don't we do it for the people who do celebrate with us?
Yeah.
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the people who celebrate with me, they're the people that I want in my life. They're the people that'll stay with me through thick and thin. They're the people that have got my back. And potentially, I might have some family members, I don't know, who see me doing well and don't want me to do well. But that's their issue, not mine. So that shouldn't stop any behaviours that are going to accelerate my career or accelerate my confidence or accelerate my growth. No? So why do we do it?
Your comment section's also toxic as hell on every platform. And I know that someone we have worked with before has taken things down off of their feed because of negative comments, because it made them feel bad.
And it's so much effort, isn't it, to write on a comment section? It's so much effort. And we noticed this from one of our TikToks that went viral, right? Mm-hmm. People grab what they can from that little clip, what they can cling to. And you said something that was really interesting that I'll let you explain. And then they go for it. They target you, and they don't want to hear what else could be going on. They don't even care about the full context.
Mm-mm. They just attack. It does feel like an attack, and I think they're hiding behind. Would you say that to someone's face? Or or are you doing it because you're hidden behind a computer or a screen and you can say anything you want, you think, with getting away with it?
I guess where my head goes though with that is, why do they feel the need to attack? Because they must be hurting in some way, or they must feel the pressure in some way, or they must feel judged in some way. No one does that if they're living a life of peace and compassion and self-compassion, right? You don't feel the need to actually take the effort to type. Me and Cal were having this discussion about getting reviews and how difficult it is to get reviews on your practice, right? On my practice and on the podcast that he's got. Like, it's so difficult to get these reviews and the business he's got, the filming business, because, you know, it's energy. And it's the same energy that goes on to commenting negative words on a podcast or on a YouTube series. And people will put that time and energy into writing some negative things on there without potentially realising the consequences of those things.
Yeah, because some people say some really nasty things. And you think, how is that? Do you not think how is that impacting the person that you're writing it about?
But this is where, like, my head goes. It's like, I don't think they're thinking of that person. I think whatever is inside of them is so fueled that they just need to get it out. So it's like, how can we create a more compassionate, a more caring, a more non-judgmental environment for all involved, so that we can all feel like we can boost each other and big each other up and not be scared that your success means my decline.
Do you know what that is? I think that's, you've hit that, your success means my decline. I think also in the acting industry, I think you think, oh, your success, you're taking the roles, so there's none left for me. Like that is such a big thing. And I think people, when you're seeing people on like social media, Instagram and things, and they're doing really, really well,
comparison,
and you compare yourself and you think, oh, I'm not doing as well. But actually, you don't actually know the reality of the person's life on the social media page. You know, you don't actually know what they're going through, what they're doing, and are they actually that happy? Are they as happy? You just don't know the realities. But at the same time, it is sad that if someone sees that and maybe they are completely happy, and that's incredible that they've managed to create a life that they are so happy and blooming in, that then someone does look at that and think, oh, I'm jealous, I've not got that. Okay, well, let's just take them down. You're right. That's really, really, that's a shame. But then how could you create a space? As you're saying, what can we do with that? Because maybe is it people that feel that they've just not achieved what they want to in life, or what?
I think we're focusing too much on them instead of ourselves. It's like you're focusing on that person accepting you rather than you doing what you feel is right in your heart and what's good for you.
There's also that famous saying of, what other people think of you is none of your business.
Right, and you can't live your life like that, because you don't know what other people think of you. So I refuse to allow that to affect the decisions I make now. You're entitled to make your own opinions. And I'm entitled to grow in a way that I want to grow. And if that means building my confidence, then I'm going to do that, right? But there is this, we need to discuss this subject matter of confidence versus arrogance. Because I think that's the situation, isn't it? Like a lot of my clients, they're so scared they're going to be seen as arrogant. So what even is arrogance?
Yeah.
Because I believe that people are arrogant when they lack confidence. I don't think confidence creates arrogance. I think arrogance comes from insecurity.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little story, actually. When I was a kid, and this might help with the insecurity leading to arrogance. When I was a little kid, I used to get bullied a lot. I had bright ginger hair and massive glasses. And I remember walking home from school, and this kid used to try and talk to me, and I had no confidence, and I didn't want to. I couldn't even look at him, because I was like, I don't want to have the conversation, because then I'm going to have to talk, and I just didn't want to talk to anyone, because I was like, they could say something, they could pick on me, I felt very, very unsafe. And so he was talking to me, and I wasn't saying anything back, and I was just looking forward and like saying to myself, just look forward and don't listen and just carry on. And he went to me, why are you being so rude? You're being really rude. Like, do you think you're better than me? And I remember at the time thinking, why would he think that? Like, I don't think that. Like, I actually think that Like at the time, I felt like I was lower than him. I felt like if I avoid speaking to you, you're not going to notice the way that I look and you're not going to make remarks about it. Do you know what I mean? But it came across as arrogance. And I know that me in my early 20s, late teens, I behaved overtly confident to mask an insecurity. I know that. And now I feel more confident, more real confidence than ever, which for me is like accepting the good parts, the bad parts, everything. And I feel like potentially my arrogance has gone down because of that. So that's just my story. But I see it in other people.
That you're so right, because I think I know someone in my life I will not name who doesn't have much confidence when it comes to confronting people in certain situations, and this person reversed back and hit someone's car and was so scared. They didn't want to, so just shy, they don't like confrontation. They sat in the car and the person came out and says, who's ran into my car? And I said, oh, they're just in the car. And they were like, why are they in the car? Why are they not coming out to speak to me? And they thought that was really rude. But it was actually because the person that had reversed doesn't like confrontation, was shy and was staying in the car. So you're right. Like it can come across as that shyness and that or arrogant. It can come across as arrogance. But really they're just shy as well. Like they're too shy to say anything.
So it's actually avoidance then, isn't it?
Yeah.
It leads to avoidance. And I was speaking to someone else the other day, and in their business, wherever they work, I'll keep it anonymous, they were saying that they didn't reply to an email because they didn't have the answer for days. And I remember, I said to them, I said, that might look like you're not prioritising that sell and that customer. And they were thinking, well, I don't want to get back until I know the correct information. And I was like, well, have you said that? And they were like, no, I don't want to say that because that makes me sound stupid. So they've not sent an email back to the person. They've avoided it and ignored them. And then the customer has started to be like, what's going on with this? Do you know what I mean? So the customer's probably thinking, oh, they don't think I'm a high paying client, or they don't think this, or they don't think that. Not realising the person's not replying because they're avoiding it because they don't want to sound stupid. So then it comes up in all areas of life, doesn't it?
That's even just come up in even customer service. Like on the jobs we've done in customer service, like customers want you to tell them what's going on, and if you don't and you avoid, they get angry because they think, well, why are you not prioritising me? Why do you think I'm not important to come and tell me what's actually happening with my food? I mean, we've worked in restaurants in the past, and with my food or with my product or with my car with another place that I've worked as well. Like, so that is so interesting. It comes across. You think that you're actually trying to, I'll protect myself. Stay away. I can't deal with this. And then that actually you're creating frustration, and someone's going to come at you because you've not been able to approach the situation that could have just put out the flames in the first. Well, put out anything before it became a flame.
Relationships.
Oh my
How
goodness.
often in my current relationship, in past relationships, I have been very guilty of this in past relationships where I have not said things about an insecurity. So, for example, I might have thought an ex was like talking to a girl for too long, and instead of going up to him, which I would do now, not that I ever think that about Tom, like very at ease with Tom. But when I was in my late teens, instead of going up to the guy and being like, when you spoke to this person, it made me feel like this, and that could be an insecurity with me, or it could be that you are, and I just want to get cleared. I would ignore the situation, be funny with the guy, play games, and then they'd be like, why are you being rude? You know what I mean? And that's because I was hiding my insecurities because I thought it was ugly. I didn't want to be seen as jealous. Whereas now, I'd be like, I'm feeling this way. Let's have a talk about it. I don't know whether it's to do with me or whether it's to do with what happened or whatever. But that's how I would approach it now if I had to have the discussion now. But I know that in my relationship, Tom will sometimes not say things to me in terms of an insecurity that comes up for him for a similar fear. And then he might act a bit differently with me in the relationship instead of just telling me. And that's something that we're constantly working through.
I mean, I totally get that because
Right?
I do that, and I will see, I'm trying to get better at it, especially for relationships, but I won't mention things in conversation if something hurts me or irritates me or I've seen something. I have in the past held that back and just tried to kind of, well, it's fine, I'll just put it under
Me
the
too.
what was it? Under
But
the rug.
it doesn't go under the rug though, does it? You hold on to it.
doesn't.
I held on to it.
You do, and then it gets worse, and then your person notices because your energy changes, and you're like, oh, what's wrong? You're like, I'm absolutely fine. I'm cool. I'm totally fine. I am fine. And then 2 days
That
later,
word
I'm like,
fine.
I am fine. I'm so not fine. But yeah, we do. You're so true. We do that in relationships, and it's so hard. It is so hard. To just say it.
Because we all want to be perfect.
Right.
We all want to be
Yeah.
perfect, but not too perfect, because then other people won't like us.
Yeah. Or you just don't want to be a problem. You don't want to cause issues. It's so true. I want to be, just want the relationship to be happy. But actually, moving forward, the relationship's not going to be happy because there's so much stuff that's not been said. And then, in the end, it's going to end. Okay. It ends.
I hope not. I'm getting married soon.
Well, yours won't, because you're actually having those conversations.
I forced Tom, I had to pin him down. We're having a conversation. You will listen.
I'm like, everything's perfect. Everything's fine. Cool. Yeah, we ended 2 weeks ago.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I know people who, out of nowhere, their relationship has ended because they didn't have those difficult conversations. And then they don't realise why it ended. And they're left thinking, what the hell happened in this relationship? And it's because the other person didn't have the confidence to bring it up for fear of upsetting the other person. And then it goes too far. The resentment builds. That's it. You've got no relationship anymore.
Yeah.
It's gone. And you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to that person to trust yourself and to trust them that they'll be able to handle it. And that's the same thing, isn't it? When you're putting yourself out there and you're trying to grow as a person and become the most confident version of yourself so you can excel, you need to trust yourself to put it out there and be okay with what comes back. And you also need to trust your friends and family to celebrate you, or trust that if they don't, that, well, then maybe they'll realise that and do some soul searching or whatever they need to do to get to that place. If they want to, they might not want to,
And maybe,
which is also fine.
Just to be okay with, and again, people might not be okay with it. And as you're saying, just be okay with that. That's fine. It's fine if they don't, because I would struggle with, people struggle with that, to be okay, no matter what comes back. Like, as long as you're living your life for you, I think, right? And just being true to yourself. But definitely, I think that having that confidence, I think confidence is so important in life. And I think that's another subject we should speak about at some point, about how confidence is with social media and things, how much confidence do the younger generation have coming up. Some people are fine, they're still blooming, they're still able to deal with social conversations, and but how much is that actually impacting the ability to be confident in a space with people rather than online or on social media?
So true. As you know, sometimes I work with children, coach children, and there are children that struggle to go into a coffee shop and order things because they don't have that confidence.
And even now, young people coming into workplaces, in one of the reception jobs I've worked at in the past, some of the people coming in to do cover couldn't even look customers in the eye, or couldn't pick up the phone. They just couldn't. They felt so uncomfortable.
And I know adults who struggle with that, who struggle with picking up the phone. I've worked with adults who struggle to pick up the phone, who struggle to have Zoom conversations.
So really, confidence it's such an important thing. I would say it's very important to have in life, to have the confidence just to be you and do what you want to in life. But again, you're saying too much confidence, then you might get ridiculed for it, or you might think, oh, actually, she's too confident, she's a bit too big for her boots.
And
Crazy,
the other thing
right?
about confidence as well, people think it's something you're born with, but it's not. It's a behaviour, it's a skill. It's something that you can learn and develop and cultivate inside of you.
And I think, were you not, when you were younger, were you quite shy when you were younger?
I was always very chatty, but yeah, people wouldn't know it because I masked it. But I was I was shy, yeah.
Same as me. I was shy, and then I grew out of that. I don't know.
But
did.
even up until when we met, I acted confident, but I didn't feel innately confident. Now I feel like I can be myself. I didn't feel like I could be myself.
Yeah.
Which is only around certain people. Mm-hmm. Certain people I could be myself. Other people, no. Didn't really trust.
That's the same as me. It took me a while when I first met people. It'd be like I would be quieter, and then I'd start becoming myself, and they'd be like, oh my goodness, Sarah, you're like a different person. Yeah. It's like, well, I had to grow my confidence in that space. But now, I am I do feel more comfortable with myself and who I am, that I can just be. So I suppose it's just finding who you are and feeling comfortable in yourself and going on that journey.
To that and being okay with not being perfect. And I think it comes with age as well. But
I think it certainly does. Yeah.
This is a huge conversation and we would love to know your thoughts. So let us know in the comments, how do you feel about your level of confidence? And do you think that it has anything to do with being arrogant? Do you think being too confident makes you arrogant? Let us know your thoughts.
And have you been judged for being too confident? That's the thing. Like, has anybody actually put you down for being too confident? I have in the past. I was in a drama class. We can keep going on, but I was in a drama class with that, and I just was like, just let myself go and to be confident. And it was a drama teacher that made a face and put me down. And honestly, for years, I held myself back just because that one look when I was a kid.
Right.
So, like, have you ever been in a situation?
You held yourself back.
Years that I was like, oh no, I can't be too big. That's been too big. So, yeah, have you ever experienced that in life? And has it stopped you doing anything that you wanted to do? We'd love to hear your stories. But thank you for listening. It's been great to have you here today. And yeah, have an absolutely beautiful day. Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.